Have you ever had a bond with someone so strong it felt like you shared the same soul? A connection so deep, no one else could ever understand it. Now, imagine that bond turning into a prison. This is the haunting true story of June and Jennifer Gibbons, two identical twins who made a pact to live in silence, shutting out the entire world. But this silent world wasn't peaceful. It was a place of secrets, creativity, and a darkness that would eventually consume them both. June and Jennifer were born in 1963 in Barbados, but their families soon moved to a small town in Wales. From a very young age, the girls were inseparable. They were also the only black children in their community, and the bullying they faced was relentless. In response, they retreated into themselves, creating a private universe where no one could hurt them. They stopped speaking to everyone, including their own parents and siblings. They developed a secret, high-speed language, a mixture of Bajan, Creole, and English that no one else could decipher. To the outside world, they were simply the silent twins. As they moved through their school years, their silence became a wall. Teachers, doctors, and therapists all tried to break through, but the twins refused. They would mirror each other's movements perfectly, a silent, synchronized dance that unnerved everyone around them. If separated even by a few feet, they would freeze, becoming like statues until they were reunited. Their bond was absolute, but beneath the surface, a strange and dangerous dynamic was forming. One twin couldn't fully live while the other was there. It was a suffocating codependence. Locked away in their bedroom, their shared world exploded with creativity. They created elaborate dolls and performed plays for each other. They devoured books and began writing with a feverish intensity. They kept detailed diaries, pouring out their thoughts, fears, and frustrations onto the page. June wrote, "Nobody suffers the way I do. Not with a sister. With a husband, yes. With a wife, yes. With a child, yes. But this sister of mine, a dark shadow robbing me of sunlight, is my one and only torment." They also began writing novels. Using money they got from unemployment benefits, they self-published their stories. Jennifer's book was called The Pugilist, and June's was Pepsi Cola Addict. Their stories were filled with drama and bizarre events, often reflecting the turmoil of their own lives. They dreamed of becoming famous authors, hoping their words would finally allow them to connect with the world they had shut out. But their books went unnoticed, and their dream of fame and acceptance slipped away. The silence and isolation continued. With their literary dreams dashed, a darker energy began to take over. Their teenage years were marked by a desperate need to feel something to break the monotony of their silent existence. They started experimenting with petty crime. It began small, but soon escalated into a spree of vandalism and arson. For them, it was a thrill, a brief, fiery escape from their suffocating twinship. In their diaries, they wrote about the excitement of setting fires, a destructive act that finally made them feel alive. But this rebellion had consequences. In 1982, at the age of 19, they were arrested and faced a choice. The court, baffled by their behavior and their unbreakable silence, decided they were psychopaths. They were sentenced not to prison, but to Broadmoor, one of Britain's most notorious high-security psychiatric hospitals. They were plunged into a world of the truly criminally insane. The place that was supposed to help them became their worst nightmare. For the next 11 years, June and Jennifer were inmates at Broadmoor. The rigid structure of the hospital was designed to break them apart. They were often kept in separate cells, the very thing they had feared their entire lives. The powerful antipsychotic drugs they were forced to take dulled their creative minds, making it impossible for them to write. Their once vibrant inner world began to fade, replaced by the gray, sterile reality of the hospital. Yet their strange bond persisted. They would take turns eating. One day June would eat and Jennifer would starve, and the next day they would switch. Their diaries from this time reveal the true horror of their relationship. They wrote about a deep love for each other, but also a terrifying hatred. They believed that one of them had to die for the other to be free. Jennifer wrote, "We have become fatal enemies in each other's eyes. We feel the irritating, killing pressure of each other's presence." June echoed the sentiment, writing, "She wants me to die. I can feel it. It is a murderous coldness. She is plotting, and I am in her way." They were trapped, not just by the walls of Broadmoor, but by each other. After 11 long years, a breakthrough finally seemed possible. A journalist named Marjorie Wallace had taken an interest in their case. She was the only person they had ever truly opened up to. She saw past the silent twins label and recognized the tormented, creative souls within. Through her advocacy, a plan was made to transfer the twins to a lower security clinic, a step towards potential freedom. As the day of the transfer approached, Jennifer made a chilling statement to Marjorie. She said, calmly, Marjorie, I'm going to have to die." When Marjorie asked why, Jennifer simply replied, "Because we decided." They had made a pact. Jennifer had agreed to sacrifice herself so that June could finally have a normal life, a life free from the shadow of her twin. On the day of their transfer from Broadmoor, Jennifer was quiet. She rested her head on June's shoulder during the bus ride to the new clinic. She looked peaceful, but when they arrived, Jennifer couldn't be woken up. She was rushed to a hospital, but was pronounced dead. She was only 29 years old. The cause of death was sudden, acute myocarditis, a rare inflammation of the heart. There was no evidence of drugs or poison. Her death remains a medical mystery. It was as if her body simply decided to shut down, fulfilling the pact she had made with her sister. In the days following Jennifer's death, something remarkable happened. June began to speak. Slowly at first, but then with more confidence, she began to talk to the doctors, to her family, and to Marjorie Wallace. It was as if a switch had been flipped. The dark shadow Jennifer had described was gone. June was released from the hospital shortly after. She now lives a quiet, independent life, free from the torment of her past and the bond that had once defined and imprisoned her. She visits Jennifer's grave often. The headstone reads, "We were once two, we were one." We are no longer two, but one in life. The story of June and Jennifer Gibbons is a deeply tragic tale of identity, isolation, and a bond so powerful it bent the rules of life and death. It forces us to ask unsettling questions. Could their love for each other truly have been so strong that one had to die for the other to live? Or was it a story of untreated mental illness, twisted by isolation and prejudice? We may never know the full truth, which is perhaps the most haunting part of their story. Their silent world, once shared by two, is now kept by one, a final, lonely secret. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating and chilling as I did, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the human mind.